Good morning and welcome to Coffee Ann, the longest running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question to the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsocket.radio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee Ann panel.
All right, it is Coffee Ann here on ONAM at FM on this Wednesday morning. It is December 20th. I'm Joe Callahan. Thanks for joining us. And around the Coffee Ann table, we'll say good morning to Tim Draper. Good morning to you, Tim.
Listen, Joe, we've already started the program.
I
Don't
know
even
you
worry about
have.
it. You don't even need to do the introductions.
We're going to have to repeat everything now. All right, Melissa Smith from the St. Antoine Communities is here. Hi, Melissa.
Good morning, everybody.
And Woonsocket City Council President John Ward has joined us as well. Good morning to you, John.
Bonjour, mes amis.
And we'll also be joined by Governor Dan McKee. He should be giving us a call about 8:15 this morning. So get your questions ready for the governor. I don't know what he could possibly have to talk about. We'll crack the wine.
He won't be here in
There
person.
we go. All right. Our first segment sponsor of Coffee Ann is the St. Antoine Communities. So back over to you, Melissa, for a first message, please.
Great, thank you so much. So for those of you that don't know a lot about St. Antoine Community, we are a large long-term care campus. We're located in North Smithfield, and we're on the line of Blackstone, Mass. and Woonsocket. And on our property, we offer an expansive continuum of services that range from assisted living to short and long-term skilled care. We have a state-of-the-art rehab center, a private hospice suite, as well as a large secured memory care unit. And the two buildings on our property are the Villa at St. Antoine, which is our 76-apartment assisted living facility, and the Residence at St. Antoine, which is our 180-bed short and long-term skilled care facility. So if you're presently at a crossroads with your loved one and trying to determine when is the right time to seek more help and support, I encourage you to reach out to me. I'd be happy to walk you through your options. You can reach me at 401-767-3500 or email me at msmith@santantoine.net.
All right, Melissa, thank you very much. Well, from what I read and what I see, apparently it was Cumberland night at the Amica Mutual Pavilion.
Oh, yeah, man.
As Marquette took on the Providence College Friars in men's basketball because of the player Tyler Kolek, who was from Cumberland, plays for Marquette, and but PC won. So
They did.
Yay for the Friars.
Yeah, actually, the Friars are off to a pretty good start, aren't they? It seems.
Yes, they are, and now they've started their Big East schedule, which is the most important part of the schedule.
Right.
So they
Everybody
did well
was
last night.
a little concerned when Ed Cooley left and went down to Georgetown, and we got this guy
A little
Kim
bit
English.
of like a revenge tour.
It's
like
almost
a little
like a
tour,
revenge
yeah.
tour. But Kim English, if I remember correctly, managed to keep a couple of players
They said about
that said they were going to
50%.
go. Right, they were going to go on the transfer portal, but,
but
he
didn't?
actually he played a game of pickup with one of the players and
Yes.
said, "If I beat you, you have to stay."
Well, that's,
and he did.
That's so smart.
Yeah,
He's so
and he
smart.
did. So
And
the
that
guy's
went
like,
viral, too. That
Right,
was
like,
like-
okay, I guess I'm staying.
All right,
I
well,
like
that-
this
Good,
guy.
good PR.
That's-
Smart move.
That's fantastic. And I know Brendan McGarr, who writes for the Braxton Valley Calls and Times Sports Tomorrow, he likes to tweet out while he's at the game.
Yeah.
And he's like, Tyler Kolek ran by the Providence bench at one time, and you know, basketball players do a lot of trash talking.
Yeah.
And he said, you know, there's no one that can touch me. He just thinks he's so great.
Yeah.
But I think it's great that PC won.
Doesn't matter whether they touch him or not.
He
They
actually had a
win.
very good game. I don't know,
Yeah.
17 points and 11 rebounds and 9 assists or something like that.
Yeah.
So he actually had a very good game. But PC won, and that's the most important thing.
Right. That's really it. You got it. And there were a lot of people from Cumberland there too last night.
I'm
so
sure.
I had
So-
but my text feed was blowing up last night with pictures of the game and
Oh, yeah.
we're in your suite at the Stunk. I'm like, I'm not there. How are you there?
That's right. I saw that. People said, thanks, Navigant Credit Union, for
Yeah,
these tickets. I'm
yeah.
like, well, where's Tim?
Yeah,
Well,
Kathy
he's
must
not
have given
there.
him to one of the
I
local.
feel
Oh,
like
you know
you're
what?
everywhere. I feel like on your social media feed on Facebook with Navigant, every event, Tim's
Well,
there.
that's-
Unless they're just pasting in your head.
Well, if you ask my wife,
I don't
I'm,
know
I'm
how you're
also
everywhere.
wearing the same jacket every time. We need to get you a new coat. I'm like, why? She
Oh my
goes,
God,
because
you
it's every
sound like
picture
me.
you're in, you're in
Yeah.
the same thing.
Same thing all the
Yep.
time.
Like, it works.
Oh my gosh.
It
And how hard is
matches,
it to pick out
matches.
your wardrobe when half of it is branded? It's
It's true.
It
That
should
is
be a
that is
rotation.
that is a good point.
Like a Monday,
Although I am no
Tuesday,
longer in
Wednesday,
charge
Thursday,
of that
Friday
part of the
tag.
business anymore, so I don't know how much longer I'm going to have branded material because the stuff I have is going to wear out sooner or later.
All right, you mentioned that Kim English, had to play one-on-one basketball against some of his players.
Yeah.
It just reminds me of the lacrosse coach at Bryant,
Yep.
who, when he came up there, said, "Okay, we're going to run,
Yeah.
and whoever doesn't beat me, you get one more chance.
Yeah.
And if you don't beat me, and however the 5-mile run was, you don't make the team."
Oh man!
And so he took off, and like half the team couldn't beat him.
Now was that the guy
Duke
from Duke?
coach?
Yes, he is the guy
Was.
from
Okay,
Duke.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Was, yeah,
he's
he's
left now.
Yeah, he's retired.
Did he?
Yeah.
I think
well, he's
he's-
coaching his grandson.
Yeah, something
down
like
in
that.
Texas or something.
Yeah.
What,
a
out of
high
high
school
school?
team. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Pretty
Well,
cool.
I thought that was great that.
Right.
Oh, we'll be. Oh, that's the old man. Well,
We'll take him on.
This won't be. This won't
Okay.
be
They
a
did
problem.
really well last year, even without him.
Right.
Did they?
Yeah.
Right. Well, he had a good recruited class and
Yeah.
everything. You know what? I give that guy a lot of credit. I mean, he was a really good. I mean, he could have gone anywhere after. When he got to Bryant, Ron Makeley gave him a shot.
Yep.
Yeah.
Said, "I'll
Only
hire
one.
you," and then all the stuff at Duke fell apart
Yeah.
because he was not at all at fault. And then
Didn't matter,
he
he stayed.
he was like, you know what? I
He got a lot of offers to go.
got a
back
lot of offers,
to the
and he said,
ACC.
"Nope, these people gave me
Where
a
were
second
you
chance.
when
I'm
I
not
needed
going
you?
anywhere."
Where were you when I needed you?
Right, and quite honestly, Pressler, right? Mike Pressler, that was his name.
Yeah.
And he was, and he was well respected and well loved around here in that community. So good for him for giving Ron Makeley his word and sticking around.
Yeah.
We got a note called in about the PC game last night. The nice going PC. However, they seem to have trouble with teams from the Midwest, like Oklahoma, who have players as tall as trees.
That's true.
That's quite possible.
grow them
So
out there.
we'll have to keep hitting those 3-pointers, I guess. So, all right. Other things going on before we have to talk to the governor. The that man that made the alleged fake bomb threat down in Florida. He's from Westerly, and he's in custody in Florida. Now, the police say he claimed he had a bomb. Have you heard what his defense is? Have you heard?
I didn't
Melissa?
even hear the
No?
story. So
Oh,
where did
they were flying back from Orlando.
Okay. Oh
Oh,
no,
that
yes,
guy.
that one,
Okay.
that guy.
Yes.
Okay, sorry, I didn't hear you say it. That
You
it
didn't
was
say
a
the
flight.
plane
We-
guy.
Sorry about that.
The plane guy. Now we got you to Orlando.
So,
yes.
but he's being held in Florida,
Yep.
and but he said, "No, that's not what I said. I didn't say I have a bomb or she has a bomb. I was telling her to keep calm.
Yeah, I did hear that.
So calm and bomb
Similar.
kind of sounds similar when you're on an airplane with all that noise. That's his defense.
Well, we'll see if it's a good defense or not.
We'll have
There's
to see.
a lot of
You're-
words that rhyme with bomb, so that cleverly could have also.
Hello, Tom. This guy's got a bomb.
Yeah, that,
I was complaining about John Rahm getting out of
yeah, you're right. So okay.
So true.
John, things go
I
well.
was just talking to my mom.
Yeah, that's right. All right, people still don't have
MOMB.
people still don't have power. Mass and in Rhode
I
Island.
know.
Yeah, that's-
and
that's
everyone's worried about.
crazy.
This is what's funny to me, and it's
What's
not
that?
funny. It's really not funny. Is everyone has already started shopping for their
Christmas.
meat for Christmas,
Yeah.
and I
Right.
have quite a few friends on Facebook who are still without power, and they are very worried about their roasts.
I
And
could
he-
have put
he-
it out
well,
last night.
And it's valid.
From
'cause
this
they're
point forward, they can just leave it outside.
Leave it outside.
That's right. It's going to
True.
have to thaw anyway.
I know. No, normally it's not an issue if you lose power, but you got like a foot of snow outside because then you just pack a cooler and
Winter's great. Your whole garage becomes a refrigerator.
it's true.
If you don't have it insulated, right?
No.
Right.
All right. How things go with the meeting on Monday night? Get a lot of things accomplished. Happy
Well,
with
we
the way
had
it went.
we had a few ordinances that are appropriation ordinances, and because they were first introduced Monday night, they had to be tabled to our next meeting because of the time delay required by the charter. It was a smooth meeting. There was a little bit of some discussion on some matters.
Did it go as long as you thought it was going to go?
It went a little longer because there was quite a bit of public comment. There's still a lot of people coming in to speak of the planning director's situation.
Are they in favor of Mike DeBrois, or are they
Some of this
or
and some of
against?
that.
A little
Some
50-50?
for, some against.
Okay.
Some want some kind of discipline made it out, and others think that we should just move on. I'm not a big fan of moving on quite yet. I don't
Okay.
want anybody to forget what happened because it's
You don't want it to
just-
happen again.
it's just so egregious, and it's so consistent with what I knew was happening for the last 10 years, and I'm still collecting information. I still have some emails that I can't release to the public yet that have information that has me scratching my head again, and it's really irritating. But we did accomplish some things, and that's good. And we had some conversations about acquiring property, and I think we're getting close to winding down our real estate business in Woonsocket as a city,
Okay.
which will be nice.
Socket Realty Corporation.
The big thing they accomplished is they're moving the times of the meetings from 7 to 6.
That
Joe, so sorry about that.
I
buddy.
know.
I know that was that wasn't my plan, but that's what two members wanted, and it was appealing to the rest, and so
Was it unanimous?
Well, I voted yes because it was obvious what was going to happen.
Yes,
but sometimes you just surrender to it. I didn't have that strong an opposition.
Yeah,
to it.
okay.
But yeah, it's
Well, if they all think they can get there at 6, well, great.
well, they do.
Yeah.
They're pretty sure they can get there at 6.
Yeah.
That's. I think if I had still been working, I would have objected a little bit more because though I
You never know.
could get there at 6,
Yeah.
there are times when things would happen that would prevent me from doing that. So
Now, Joe, did you go speak at the public hearing about the fact that it will interfere with the tiki bar?
I should have, and I didn't.
I did mention it. I did. I said, "What will happen to the tiki bar?" And of course, half
People
the
like-
audience
are like,
was
what,
like,
what are you talking about?
Well, at least,
Tiki bar
hey, Joe, I
will
think
sock it?
you can look at the positive side of this.
Yes.
Half the people knew what he was talking
Well, okay,
about.
there you go.
And I mentioned the station, you
Yeah.
know, broadcasts the meetings, and that it's this programming that's scheduled at 6 o'clock, and you know,
We'll figure something
nobody
out.
consulted with the station, nobody consulted with
Nobody asked us.
with Paul Jacob, the videographer, nobody consulted with
Well, maybe can he make it?
nobody consulted with the mayor. And I don't know. I haven't asked him yet. I asked the mayor during the meeting, and he said, "Yeah, okay."
Do you have to vote on it again?
No,
No, just
no,
once.
it's a resolution.
happening.
It's a change in the rules. That's
All right.
just one vote done.
So your next meeting, which will be in the new year,
The next meeting will be January the 8th.
the 8th. So that's the day it'll
That's the day that it'll
start
switch.
at 6. Okay.
Yes.
I wonder if people, any consternation from the public. They said,
No.
no, I can't get here for that time.
Well, they were sort of busy worrying about the
Other things.
December hurricane that came through.
Can we get out of here? It's
At
really
the
raining
time,
hard.
I'm sure not a lot of people were concerned about what we were saying. Though they may have had it on as noise in the background,
Yeah.
they were probably more concerned about their roof shingles and trees falling on their house.
I had
What about
four-
you,
I had
Tim?
I had waterfront property for like 24 hours. My backyard was a pond. It was
Yeah.
awful. I've never seen it so high. 2010 was bad. This was worse.
So is there a creek or something that runs
There's
by
a
your
there's
house?
a brook that dries up in the summertime.
Yeah.
Does it? Yeah.
And it was just there was rain from the previous week.
Yeah.
And then there was just so much rain that once it gets, we have a culvert, which are 4 pipes that go underneath the road, and then the pond runs right by my house, and then there's another road in the back of my house, and 4 more pipes that go to the other side. Well, the water just got so high that it just overwhelmed those pipes. All of the low-lying lands around my house just all got flooded, so there's nowhere for the water to go. So it just comes up right over the bank and then right into my backyard, and my backyard becomes the river at that point in time. And it was not a lot of fun. And now my house is high enough that my finished basement didn't get flooded. My unfinished basement did. But the problem is all the hydraulic water pressure from the ground and from all the water in my backyard pushing down on that was forcing it through the cracks, the settling cracks in my basement. We had 5 shop vacs going at one point in time on those cracks, trying to keep the water at bay.
Is that enough?
That was the unusual thing
Barely.
about this.
Barely, okay.
Those back-to-back storms in 2010 was part of, it was in the March, but it was part of a normal cycle
Right.
where the ground,
Snowfall.
there probably was
right.
snowfall, and it was not as saturated.
Right.
The groundwater wasn't as high up.
Yep.
And this one, the soils were saturated already. So anybody that had a problem with water in their basement, they had a lake in their basement, and it was so bad that there's no room for it to get
Right.
sucked into the soil.
Right.
Sylvester's Pond came right up over Cumberland Hill Road, and they closed the road.
Right.
And that's fed by brooks coming down from where Walmart is, and the other one coming up from Highland
Right.
Industrial Park, and it all just goes underground and through brooks and everything else, and it just overwhelms it.
Melissa, how about you, over, either yourself or St. Antoine? Any issues over there?
Similar to Tim, I had a lake in my backyard, but we're lucky, so we're sort of below grade. I live in a really rural, wooded area, and the houses are like on 3 acres each, and you're either like close to the road or you're below the road, and so our driveway slopes down, so all the water just sort of ran to the back. We've never really had a basement issue, so I feel really lucky with that, because that would have really stressed me out, especially Christmas time. I have a couple colleagues that, in fact, did have their Christmas gifts in the basement and lost some stuff.
Wow.
So you feel bad about that. I will say at work, it was bad. We had several leaks on the property. We had a lot of leaking in the windows, and then both buildings had significant roof damage because of it. I mean, any flat top roof,
Yeah, gotta be
you
a
just got
problem.
water sitting there.
Yeah.
And so we have one big issue happening in the kitchen at the nursing home. They had to go to paper plate service last night and shut down half the kitchen to be, repaired promptly. And we were already scheduled to have a new roof over at the assisted living this coming fiscal year, and I think we're going to have to
Move it up.
move that timeline up. It added a little excitement. It's hard to explain to elderly, especially when they're, paying privately for an apartment in our assisted living, that, okay, yes, some water is coming into your apartment through the windows. This was an unusual storm. We will get to it. I mean, we're doing the best that we can, and it's just hard to keep everybody at bay to understand how serious the conditions were outside. Because when you're inside a building like that, even during the pandemic, we were constantly explaining, like, you guys are in a little protected bubble in this land. You don't know how bad things are on the outside, and so we did try to do as much communication as we could with them. The evening news helped tremendously because it really showcased how bad things were. But the debris in the roads even is still an issue. Like I'm afraid I'm gonna pop a tire. There's just branch crumbles everywhere.
I was amazed at how many branches fell out of the trees.
Yeah.
Right.
Just from the wind and the water, and there's no leaves on them, so there wasn't a lot of resistance coming from the leaves. And yet they were falling everywhere.
And everyone kept saying, wishing it were, or if it were snow, it would have been worse. And I'm thinking, I actually don't feel that way because I think you could at least shovel, move, whatever.
Would have been 4 feet of snow, though.
Could have been 4 feet of snow. Would have been beautiful.
Well, yes, it would look nice.
It would have been dangerous.
still be at
power
home.
outages, things like that. But you could at least shovel it, get it out of the way. You wouldn't have had the issues in your basement. It would have gradually melted. It would have just been a little bit more. But I don't know.
All right.
I don't know.
We got to take a
And
break.
it would have made for a white Christmas.
It would have
It
this
would
year.
have made, but with the way New England rolls, it would have been
Washed
four
away.
feet of snow, and it would have been all melted and brown in your yard by the time
The
Christmas.
Sunday,
Would have been an ugly
Sunday River
snow.
Ski
I
Resort,
think-
they're going to have a problem.
I think southern
They
New
are.
England's white Christmas days are over
Yeah, I
for
think
a
so,
while.
too.
I
Possible,
think so
yeah.
too. It's all shifted, right?
All right.
The seasons.
We do have to take a break because we got to get to the I believe the governor's on the line. So Melissa, time for a second message, please.
Oh, I'm going to go before the governor. We
Yeah,
don't want to
before the
wait till
governor.
after.
No,
Excuse
let's
me.
go
I'll be
to-
as fast
go
as
to
I
you for
can.
a second message.
Today is extremely important. If you have not had a chance to swing by on St. Antoine Residence, 10 Rhodes Ave, get there today before 1 o'clock. Take a tour of the beautiful display of wreaths that we have in the main corridor, of which, obviously, I've mentioned on the air, Navigant Credit Union was a huge supporter of this event, and they decorated 20 of the 40 wreaths on display. The staff took care of the rest. The bids are generous and exciting, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again, it's not about raising money, although that's a perk. It has brought so much conversation and excitement this holiday season to the building that that's really what we're grateful for. So if you haven't had a chance to swing by and place a bid in a wreath, or at least swing by and see the work that's been put into these wreaths, stop by today before 1 o'clock. Winners will be announced on Facebook, and calls will be made out to the winners as well.
I'm not sure my wreath is going to earn the money that
You
cost
got a
me to
bid.
bid. I got a bid on it?
You got a bid.
Yes!
Somebody yours was the dogs, right? No, you weren't the dog.
Mine was the blue wreath, blue and white Christmas wreath.
I don't know.
So still nothing.
Anybody, please
Anybody
come out
please,
and
the love of God.
support
Buck
Tim.
95.
No, I think you did. Every wreath had bids.
That's a bit. All right,
Yeah.
great. All right, more coffee hands coming up. Stay tuned.
Somebody.
Krakow Deli Bakery and Smokehouse offers authentic homemade Polish food to make your next meal real special. Try our many varieties of hot and fresh pierogi with onions and dirty sour cream, or pick up golubki, kielbasa, babkas, or some fresh rye bread. We also offer a large selection of specialty and imported goods. We're open Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays from 9 to 6, Wednesdays 9 to 5, and Saturdays 8 to 5. Follow us on Facebook to learn about our weekly specials. Located at 855 Social Street in Woonsocket, Krakow Deli Bakery and Smokehouse has all the authentic Polish foods you love. Helping clients control success is what Bourget & Associates is famous for. Bourget & Associates, right here in Woonsocket, is a nationwide provider of a wide variety of due diligence and business financial consulting services. Their team of highly trained professionals focus on client service, and that sets them apart from their competition. Feel free to visit their website, bourgetgroup.com, to find out how Bourget & Associates can help your business. Bourget & Associates, a proud sponsor of the Milk Fund radio auction on ON Radio, and they wish you all happy holidays and a prosperous new year.
The Coffee and Panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee Roasters. All their coffee is roasted right here in Rhode Island. Down East Coffee Roasters is available at all Little General stores.
We're local and live at 99.5.
It's Coffee and on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. This is Joe Callahan here with Tim Draper, Melissa Smith, and John Ward. And as promised, we are being joined on the telephone by Rhode Island Governor Dan McKee. And good morning to you, Governor.
Good morning, and good morning to your guest there, Tim Draper's there. I was with him on Saturday.
Absolutely. Morning, Governor. How are you?
The Cumberland guys.
Right. We were passing out toys at Communities Angels of Providence.
Were you?
What a great event that was. Wow.
Yeah. How many kids were there?
5,000 kids is what they're
Wow.
saying.
Wow.
And enough toys for everybody? Yeah. All right. Governor, do you know Melissa Smith from the St. Antoine communities? Have you ever met?
I believe I know of Melissa. Yes, so thank you very much for having me on the same time with Melissa.
Yeah, it's good to hear your voice. It's been a while. I actually knew you back in my days when I was working for Care New England and supporting senior services in the community. So,
Oh yeah,
long time ago.
Definitely, we're still trying to do that. So the work continues.
All
I
right.
was actually up in Woonsocket at Cairns the other night. Our daughter Carol was singing to a performance for a Christmas show, and
Oh, that's right.
and and John Chan was doing the milk fund stuff. So it was good.
Oh, excellent. And of course, you know John Ward, right?
Well, I think we've met
Oh,
before.
yeah.
Good morning, Governor.
And,
Yeah, once or twice, John.
once
How
or
are you?
twice.
Good. How are you, Governor?
Excellent, thank you.
Well, we had a few things that we wanted to talk to the governor about that when we set this whole thing up, and then something else kind of jumped in front of everything else. And so, tell us a couple of things. Yeah, tell us, Governor, what is the latest with the bridge in East Providence?
Yeah, so we've been actually I just got off a call with our whole staff on that one, and traffic is going pretty much as normal with the work that all the DOT and the work was done last week to get lanes going on the east side that are 2 lanes going east and now and 2 lanes going west. So we're pretty much back to normal. The work continues to try to make sure that we open up the west side again. The schedule was like 3 months, but we'll keep everybody updated. That was certainly an experience and an emergency in many ways because we impacted many of the businesses and clearly took people out of their schedules in a way where we're sorry about that. But at the same point now, we're trying to do the best we can out of it. We just opened up a small business SBA center in East Providence, but any business that was impacted, including the Woonsocket area in any way, like they might have lost a hair appointment or they might have lost a delivery or whatever it might be. Now those businesses are eligible for some funding at very low interest rate if they were inclined to be looking to create some capital for that business. And we got hundreds of businesses that are going to take advantage of that. That right now you can get most likely be eligible for 30-year loans at 4%. We haven't seen 4% in quite a while under the current market conditions. So if businesses were impacted in the area, in the listening area, in any fashion at all, we certainly would want to hear from you. So, and if you were looking to capitalize your business for either paying off high interest loans or buying things for your to support your business, you may find that you're eligible. So we're trying to find a silver lining in the mess that we had earlier, during the early part of last week.
Tim, is Navigate Credit Union involved in these SBA loans?
I think our small business team, our commercial lending team, does a lot of work with the SBA. So even if you have questions about that program, give our team a call at Navigate, and I'm sure they'll have some answers for you too. Direct you in the right direction.
All right, that's good. That's good to know. Governor, are we seeing the delays that were happening at the beginning of the bridge closure, but with the lanes opening up, have things evened out, or are there still delays that people need to be concerned about?
Maybe I think it's like 5 to 7 minutes rolling through there right now at any given time. But
Okay.
but really, it's back to normal. I mean, it was clearly a mess. I mean, East Providence took the brunt of it. As they directed traffic, they had a parking lot there on Tuesday, and we certainly apologize that. But Mayor De Silva really stepped up, and we worked with him to kind of work our way through it. But he's very very comfortable that things are back to normal. And so yeah, that's back to normal. But I can tell you, then we got hit by a storm, right?
Yeah.
That was brutal for areas, including northern Rhode Island, with flooding and I signed another emergency order yesterday to any municipality that is impacted. We're in touch with all the municipalities, northern Rhode Island, as well as down on the coast, down in Westerly. Business is really interrupted. Almost a mini Sandy storm, way back when, 10 years ago, down there in the Westerly area with, the water coming up from the ocean into buildings. So that actually caused as much or more of the disturbance for the entire state. We had outages. Right now, I think we're down to about under 500 outages, mostly in the Forster, Situate area.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was certainly another test for our emergency management team. Director Pappas, we're very fortunate to have him on board. But again, we are contacting all municipalities, John. So if there was anything that, we're asking people to document that. And then also we're that flood area or the storm area is also another qualifier for those SBA loans. And now we're actually trying to cover the southern part of the state with another emergency order that we're hopeful that the SBA administrator in Washington will approve, coverage for any businesses that are in the state that have been impacted either by the closing of the bridge or the most recent storm.
All right. I don't know if you've heard, Governor, but there's no school today in Cumberland. And not that there's an issue with the schools. There's an issue with the buses. Not particularly where the buses is, but where the buses are housed, there's 4 feet of water. And the drivers of the buses can't get to the buses.
Well, I don't know how. I'm aware of that. Both the Cumberland schools as well as the Blackstone Valley Prep Male Academy, which that bus company services them. So, yeah, we're well aware of that, and I know that RIDE is. We've had RIDE on our calls as well.
Mm-hmm.
The disturbance to the schools has been relatively isolated, but but my hometown, of course, is the one that's bearing the brunt of that at the moment.
You're right. With things getting a little bit back to normal on the bridge, and then there was talk of the ferry service between Providence and Bristol, which has been delayed again until tomorrow due to some mechanical issues. In your opinion, is the ferry service still needed if things are better on the bridge?
Well, that's a good question because we certainly were scrambling with any opportunity. We're asking for any advice. When initially the bridge was very quickly closed on last Monday. So we're going to be we've kind of committed a certain amount of expense there, but we are going to be taking a look at the usage to determine whether or not how long we want to provide that service. So. It's just like the bridge, Newport Bridge. We knew that there was going to be more activity there. So for all the people who might be traveling at some point in time through Newport, that we're really, two things there. One is back on the ferry. We're really monitoring that usage to determine, how long we want to incur that expense. Under the circumstances when we put it together, a number of the people who are really pro, public transportation really encouraged us to do that, and we were taking, suggestions like that. So we'll monitor it, and if it doesn't make sense, we have a break-off point where we can, stop the service if we don't think it makes sense for the cost, because it's costly to provide that. But we felt as though that at the moment when that decision was made, anything that could have helped that situation, we were trying to figure out how to do it. On the bridge, the Newport Bridge, what we're doing there too is, I think it's important for the listeners, is that we really got a big focus on the transponders that you can get, right? The chip that you can put on your windshield that will reduce your cost if you do travel over the Newport Bridge with the holidays or it's just normal over the years. So over the year, it's $6 to go over it, without the transponder. It's 83 cents to go over it with the transponder. And so during the holidays here, the Bridge Authority is working with us. So you can go to your local AAA office. You don't have to be a member. The transponders now, instead of normally it's a $10 fee to get the transponder, that's been waived. So there's no $10 fee, and then you can load it up with cash, or you could put it on a reoccurring type of thing with your bank account or your credit card. So that's another. I was on the call this morning, and just the publicity on this. There's a lot of people who are getting those transponders, and if you bought a transponder like 2 weeks ago, they'll credit you back to $10.
Oh, that's good news.
We're doing everything we can to try to minimize that aggravation and that inconvenience that closing of a bridge, caused us.
Okay, we're going to take a break here on the Coffee and program, but more is coming up with the governor, so please stay tuned. Time for the weather forecast, which is being brought to you by Batteries Plus Bulbs.
Sunny skies with a high of 42 degrees. Tonight, clear with an overnight low of 27. Thursday's weather, sunny with a high of 36 and a breeze from the north. Friday, sunshine and 34. Saturday, partial sunshine and 41. Sunday, mostly sunny and 46. Christmas Day, Monday, mostly sunny and 46. And on Tuesday, partial sunshine, high of 49.
Currently outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Ave and Kennedy Street with sunny skies, we have 32 degrees. At Batteries Plus, they want to know what moves you. Is it an SUV, a motorcycle, a golf cart? Whatever moves you drives them. Stop in or shop online at batteriesplus.com.
For an Allstate agent, providing protection options that fit your life is something they take, personally. Allstate agents are committed to learning about your needs and helping customize protection to meet them. From bundling your home and auto insurance with ease to evaluating optional coverage, your Allstate agent can help build an insurance proposal that fits your life. And just as important as learning what you need is learning what you don't. Because helping you get coverage you want with savings you deserve is what Allstate is all about. It's time to get coverage that's catered to you. Are you in good hands? Call Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. One agency, two locations in North Smithfield and Bellingham. One telephone number, 765-5000. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Allstate Property and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois. When you're a Mountie, you can be anything. At Mount St. Charles Academy, middle school and high school students are inspired to expand their talents and use their skills to serve others. Students benefit from award-winning academics, religious, and service-based learning and take part in a wide variety of extracurricular activities, including competitive athletics, diverse clubs, and the fine and performing arts. Begin your Mount journey and apply today. Get started at mountstcharles.org.
Hey, it's your old friend Cruisin' Bruce, inviting you to join me for a special presentation. It's an old-fashioned Christmas.
An old-fashioned Christmas.
Hey, Santa, what's shaking, man?
Santa Claus is coming to town. Merry Christmas.
Santa can still look into his magic snowball and see just what you're up to.
We're gonna have the happiest Christmas since Bing Crosby tap danced with Danny Kaye.
Happy holiday.
Come on and join me for nonstop Christmas memories. Christmas Eve from 6 to 11 p.m. here on ON Radio.
All right, it is Coffee and here on ON AM and FM. Oh, I should have waited till you had a mouthful of cookie. All right. This is Joe Callahan here with John Ward, Melissa Smith, Tim Draper, and Governor Dan McKee is on the phone with us. And before we get back to the governor, Tim, it's time for a first message from Navigant Credit Union.
Thank you, Joe. It's a holiday season, and unfortunately, some of the bad characters and actors are out there, and they're looking to separate you from your money as quickly as they can. So, as always, and as this first public service message, we ask you to be your best advocate when it comes to fraudulent activity, things that don't sound right and look right, internet transactions that you just don't feel comfortable with. Don't make those mistakes and actually click on links and make those transactions. You've got plenty of resources at Navigant Credit Union to help you determine whether that's an issue or not for you. You can always call us at 233-4700, ask one of our great contact folks, center folks, or you could call even to our security officer, Steve Ormeron, who's great. And would be happy to help you walk through some of those questions that you might have. But our website certainly is chock full of information about our senior safeguard program. And honestly, it's not even seniors anymore. It's everybody. The text messages, the emails, the fake phone calls. Don't get caught by them. If it doesn't smell right, it's probably not right. So give somebody that you need to you can trust a call at 233-4700. Navigate Credit Union. Thank you for your business.
All right. One of the ones I'm hearing now is because of the uptick of AI, is that it sounds like the person you know on the other end of the line.
Yeah.
Asking for money for whatever reason they need it for.
I don't want to take up the governor's time, but I got a great story. I'll tell you guys off the air about how that exactly worked.
Oh, okay. John, you had a question for the governor about maybe using the ferry service in the wintertime?
No, I was just saying that the risk of storms being such a problem in the wintertime, that maybe because the traffic slows down during bad weather, the ferries probably would make sense through the winter anyway, and then maybe see how it pans out, because I'd hate to get lulled into a false sense of security and then have a snowstorm stop the bridge
Yeah.
in its tracks and have no other recourse for people.
Any thoughts on that, Governor?
Yeah, that's why we're going to track the usage. It's not inexpensive. If we run it the full 3 months, we're estimating it'll cost us about $5 million.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
there's certainly a cost factor compared to the usage. But if we're showing, we can transport with the buses that that are there to pick up in Providence or pick up in Bristol. We can do about 1,000 people an hour. So we're geared up, and if the public feels though that's a good mode of transportation, we're prepared to provide that transportation and incur that cost. And these costs that are connected to the bridge closing, the way I feel about it is part of the cost of that construction. So if the usage is high, we'll continue. If the usage doesn't make sense for the investment we're making, then we're going to we're not going to we're going to save the dollars if the fact that it doesn't make sense. But time will tell.
Can you get any of that money reimbursed? I'm sorry, Governor. Can you get any of that money reimbursed through any federal disaster programs that you've signed for?
So what's interesting, Tim, is that the closure of the bridge really doesn't qualify as an emergency. As say in Philadelphia, where the bridge actually collapsed.
Right.
If we had a bridge that collapsed, then that's why we closed it down and incurred a disaster, and people's safety was at risk, and all of a sudden now we qualify for that. But we don't. It's not a qualifiable under the federal emergency, but that's why we went with the SBA loans. That was qualifiable, but we are back channeling. I've had comments. Former Secretary of Labor, he's into intergovernmental affairs at the White House. We've had conversations with Secretary Budovich, who's the obviously Transportation Secretary, and the SBA Administrator along. So we're in contact with our delegation as well, with our new Congressman Amo and Magaziner, along with Senators Reid and White House. And so we're back channeling, Tim, to see whether there's other buckets of resources that we could potentially use. Time will tell on that. We expect that we're going to get some help from the Secretary of Transportation based on what he's told us, but not on an emergency basis like what happened in Pennsylvania.
All right. Well, in the same vein, keeping on the money, we have a news story this morning. Providence and East Providence have collectively paid out more than $73,000 in overtime to police and other emergency. Can the state reimburse those cities with federal funds?
We have sent letters. We've been in very close contact with both mayors during this process, and we let them know that to document their public safety overtime that is related to the closure, and we're going to reimburse that. And I believe what we'll do is reimburse it again. We'll consider that a cost of the project on the bridge, so we'll reimburse it through the funds that are allocated to take care of the bridge, and we're in the process of doing that right now. So that decision was made early. As a former mayor, I understand that those extra expenses that were out of control, that really weren't a part of the operation of any municipality, but was caused by the local bridge, that would be tough to incur. So we're going to be evaluating, making sure that the costs of the that are being requested are directly related to the bridge closure, and where they are, we'll make sure that we'll make the communities whole.
All right. Any other questions or comments about the bridge before we move on to something else?
No, please.
No, Melissa, you all set? Okay, Tim,
I'm
to
good.
go? All right. Other things that the governor wanted to talk about. One of them is Learn 365. So, Governor, can you even explain what that project is?
Yeah, that's moving along really well. I also would mention, it's a lot about education, and we're really investing in education. I really my ears perked up when Tim was talking about the cybersecurity issues. We, for the benefit of the listeners and people that are, having kids go to college, we've opened up a cybersecurity school with Congressman Langevin at Rhode Island College. We expect that we'll have 1,000 kids in that school and filtering back into jobs that are good, serious paying jobs, six-figure jobs, within a short period of time. So that's kind of like supporting what Tim's talking about, is that we know that we need to train people for good paying jobs. Mm-hmm. That's an area we know that is one of those areas. And that's that's exactly what we're doing with this Learn 365 RI. We're looking to really create a culture of that in every home, every day, learning matters. And so that means that out of school time frame is important time frames that we can help young people be learning things that they want to learn about. And so we have 38 of the 39 communities, and Woonsocket's one of them that is signed on to a compact that is going to help us, achieve that goal, which is to meet or exceed Massachusetts levels with they're rated as number one in the country by 2030 on all the reading and math skills. So right now we're focusing on these compacts, partnering in with RIDE, with Commissioner Infante Green, partnering in with higher ed. That's why I mentioned Rhode Island College, with our Commissioner Shannon Gilkey, partnering in with all these municipalities, municipal leaders, and all the universities as well. So the universities are getting involved in communities that have the compact, partnering in with through municipal leadership with nonprofits that are doing the work already that will want to be part of this effort. Right now, the Boys and Girls Club in Northern Rhode Island is participating with the Northern Rhode Island communities, including Woonsocket. So it is an effort. It's a multi-year effort, Joe, to meet or exceed Massachusetts levels on our education. We know if we do that, that it's really economically a big economic advantage to the state. Families will earn well over $2.5 billion more a year just by meeting those levels. And we're working directly with the municipal leaders, but they're partnering in with school districts all over the state. Well, hopefully that we're going to be partnering in the Woonsocket School District as we are down in Newport. So the teams will be meeting, and I'm staffing up our office to provide support to the municipalities as well. And we've also set up a nonprofit that is geared to provide guidance to the municipal leaders to deliver these learning hours. Again, every day, every home, every day, learning matters. And then we also appropriated dollars over the next 18 months, which I find very exciting. We're going to be opening 29 learning centers in the state of Rhode Island with the communities that have asked, who are involved with the compact, that they signed the compact. I believe Woonsocket is definitely going to be involved in that. I know that.
You know that, John, as
in the mayor,
yes,
in the mayor's office.
Actually, I just had a
we're going to
conversation
continue. I'm meeting with Mayor Bodum today.
Oh, great.
It's an all-in effort, and we're looking forward to really working with the municipalities to help move education along in every home, whether the kids are in public schools, charter schools, Merrill academies, whether they're at Mount St. Charles. We want to make sure we upgrade the outcomes in our learning. We know that's a big benefit for the individuals and the kids, but it's also a big benefit for the communities. It's a very comprehensive plan that I tried to cover in about 3 minutes, 4 minutes, but we're looking forward to really executing on this plan over the next few years.
And John, you spoke to the mayor about it as well?
I spoke actually to Paul Luba, who's handling the grants on this, and I'll be meeting with him to go over the details of what they're talking about planning. And of course, you know, I know the governor has been involved with Boys and Girls Club in Northern Rhode Island, and they're, you know, they do a lot of work educationally beyond just being a place for somebody to go play basketball or something. They're very active in that regard. We have Connecting for Children and Families, we have Head Start, and this will be a thing sort of to close that gap for the grades and the ages that can use this opportunity beneficially, we hope.
I know cybersecurity is the new major that's coming up at colleges, especially Rhode Island College has that. Melissa, you've got children that are like mine coming up to graduating from high school soon. Any interest with your girls in cybersecurity yet? Or?
No.
None at all.
that science technology piece does not fit in my kids' wheelhouse. They're
Not
more
yet,
like
anyway.
the English language arts, political science, history,
All right,
that side of
that's
things.
okay.
But yeah. No.
All right. Well, you
no,
never know
I
what
kind of
happens when
wish,
they get
but
to
no,
college.
because there's huge opportunities for girls to go into that industry. I feel like there's a lack of
That's
female
right.
leadership in engineering and technology, but nope, couldn't convince them.
Not yet.
Not
Well,
yet. Well, maybe.
maybe.
My youngest will keep pivoting.
She's
We'll see.
she's the navigator of the group, so maybe she'll go in that direction.
As a parent, you got to plant those little seeds and conversations
That's
here and there,
right,
and then
that's
let
right.
them on their own realize, oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. Look how much money you can make doing in this area.
Just plant the seed, walk away. They'll
All
figure
right.
it out on their own.
Tim, it's time for a second message from Navigant Credit Union, then we'll take another break here on the Coffee and program.
Real simple, Joe. We're here a few days before Christmas and the holiday season, and from us at Navigant Credit Union, myself personally to the audience, has been great to us this year. I wish you and your families Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and a wonderful New Year.
Very good. And more of Coffee and with the Governor coming up. Stay tuned. The purchase of a new vacuum cleaner or sewing machine is an important decision. Don't leave this decision up to the big box stores. Go see the experts at Marion Sew and Vac in Bellingham. They carry the top-of-the-line Miele and Sebo bagless vacuum cleaners. Both use hospital-grade filtration to remove 99.9% of dirt and dust. Marion Sew and Vac carries the Juki sewing machine. That's perfect for not only sewing, but also embroidery. Also, Marion Sew and Vac can repair your old vacuum cleaner and sewing machine. Stop in today to Marion Sew and Vac, 234 Pulaski Boulevard, Bellingham. They're open Tuesday through Saturday at 10 a.m.
On today's Milk Fund Radio auction, we'll put up for bid both cranberry and banana mini breads in a ceramic pan, a 1/43rd scale model of a 1932 Ford Coupe, and a New York Yankees branded thermometer, and a bottle of Chardonnay wine, plus another Stadium Theater historical tree ornament and lots of valuable gift certificates. So join me, Joe Callahan, and our celebrity guest auctioneer, Annette Baraducci of Baraducci Funeral Home, and a very special friend of the Milk Fund, today from 4 to 5 p.m. only on ON AM and FM radio and video streamed for your convenience.
ON Radio. You can depend on us for public service. ON Radio.
It is Coffee In on ON AM and FM. Thanks for joining us this morning. This is Joe Callahan here with Melissa Smith and Tim Draper and John Ward. We're also being joined by Governor Dan McKee, who's on the phone with us, and we've been talking about the bridge down in East Providence, the Learn 365 program. On top of the Learn 365, tell us, Governor, about the other project called Attendance Matters.
Yes, thank you so much for saying that, and that's part of our goal of, we've set 3 goals. One, as I mentioned, about meeting or exceeding Massachusetts levels by 2030. Increasing attendance is our second goal that the compact communities agreed to help on. And the third goal is to make sure that all our graduates take advantage of all the FAFSA application, which means all the Pell Grants and that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, we left almost, I think, $5 or $6 million on the table last year because we didn't fill out enough. Families weren't ready to fill that out. But on the Attendance Matters, this is a really important program. We've set up what they call a dashboard, but you can go to the website, RIDE's website, and partnering with our office, we can track every school in the state of Rhode Island, and we can compare this year's attendance rate to last year's attendance rate relative like to chronic absenteeism, which means that kids that are going to miss 10% of the school year, about 18 days a year, are considered chronically absent. And the young kids that are missing school at those levels, when it comes time for them to, really develop their skills, we can measure that. For instance, on their reading and math skills, kids that are chronically absent compared to their peers in the same schools are somewhere around 20 points. They score about 20 points less on those scores. That means that, they're not getting the education. So if we can increase attendance, and that dashboard, if you go to it, you'll see every school. You can take a look at Woonsocket, and Woonsocket will show year comparison last year to this year. And you're going to see that this effort is working because, coming out of the COVID, attendance really dropped significantly. And now virtually every school in the state of Rhode Island, if you look at that dashboard, is showing a green arrow. That means that the attendance is stronger this year than it was last year. So it's an all-in effort. We just saw tapes of the URI basketball team because these universities are actually involved, and they just taped a 30-second tape with their players saying attendance matters, and it's going to be
great.
Put on the Jumbotron down at the URI basketball game. So there's a whole bunch of ways to deliver this message in a real positive way, so families understand that to have their boys and girls in school, their students in school, is really very, very important to them and to the community and to the state. So that's an all-in effort. Attendance matters, and right now we've been recognized as the only state in the country that has put together a dashboard like this that the public and community leaders and radio personalities can go to, and they can track this. And this means that it's going to be front and center as information, very in a positive way. This is a very, very relatively easy concept to understand, but we really need help from your listeners and the families out there to understand how important this attendance is to their kids and their families, their communities, and in a large part the state of Rhode Island. So that attendance matters. I'd go to the dashboard and take a look at it. You just go to RIDE, and I have it up in my office every day. And when anybody comes in that is influential in the state in any way, I'll show them the dashboard. I'll pull up their community. I'll show them that that attendance is up in areas, but you'll be floored at looking at last year's rate in any community, including Woonsocket.
Melissa's got a question for you, governors.
Well, not so much a question, but just to share that that I'm actually a parent representative on the town of North Smithfield school improvement team, which we're discussing obviously absenteeism rates and trying to drive the metrics in the right direction in our town. And I just wanted to share, just like on a positive note, it has really sparked a pretty important dialogue amongst the parents that are represented on this community to have that conversation back and forth with teachers and the principal and administrative team in our town anyways, to just bring awareness to them as to what some of the driving forces of absenteeism have been in our town. And yeah, COVID definitely played a large role in that, and all of the state mandates that took place for a period of time afterwards and getting kids back into the classroom. But even just now, it seems like there's not enough conversation surrounding mental health impacts of kids. And how we define absenteeism, and is it a whole day? Is it just a period? Is it, what's allowable, what's not allowable, and educating parents so that they understand the difference between a sick day or a mental health day or whatever the reason or the cause might be, and having also an understanding of how it impacts that data and reflects in your town with your metrics. And it's just been a really positive experience for me, even as a parent of two kids that attend regularly. We don't really take advantage of that calling out. We try to set a positive tone in our house with our kids. I'm heading to work with the sniffles. You can too. That messaging. But what are the other struggles in other households? And it's been well received in our town, having that conversation and open dialogue with the leadership. And I'm hoping that happens in other neighboring communities as well, because we do need to motivate these kids to have just good morals and ethics in their day-to-day life as they get older. And starting that conversation at the school level has been really positive in our town. So I just wanted to share that it's working.
Working in North Smithfield.
Working in
I'm really
North Smithfield.
pleased to hear that. And I know North Smithfield is also one of the compact communities that we're working with, and it's an all-in effort, right? I mean, it's the schools, it's the municipal leaders, it's the families, it's the business community, it's higher ed. Really echoing this in a way where it's not a shaming issue. It's not meant to be a negative. I'm so happy that you're hearing a positive strategy here, because in the end, that energy is going to really carry over, and you're going to see. If you go to that portal and that's on Ride, if you look up North Smithfield, you're going to see that the attendance has improved significantly. So your work in that community is paying off right now.
And I'll just share something funny on a positive note as well. So ironically, this morning, one of the initiatives that we put in place to kind of be a positive reinforcement of attending school, right? So there, obviously you have to bait kids in and motivate them in some ways. There's always a little bribery. But they came up with like a class competition, in a sense, that the grade that has the most improved absenteeism rates each quarter will get to attend a special private VIP frolic, as one of the teachers labeled it, and I thought that was such a clever party name, a very old-fashioned frolic. So they're frolicking this morning with make your own, decorate your own gingerbread cookies, I think, and coffee and whatnot, and to high school kids to be able to get out of a class and go down and frolic with your friends in a private VIP area was motivating. And they had one last quarter, and obviously word buzzed around the school, and so this quarter it did spark that motivation for kids to come in because they want to attend that frolic.
All right.
So yeah, just some creative stuff's happening in our town, and I know other towns as well. So the work that you're putting into it is definitely well received and working.
John, have you talked to anyone?
Well, invite me to the next frolic. I'll show up.
Oh, you got it. I'll let them know at the
That's a
next
great
meeting.
idea.
They would love it. They would love it.
But any contact
No,
with the
well,
school
we got a lot
committee,
of
John?
people-
Go ahead, Governor.
Go ahead, John. Sorry. No, I was just saying we have a number of people that are doing the same thing as what we just described in North Smithfield. I was at my daughter Kara's doing some singing now, so I was down in East Greenwich, and there was a number of people that came into that concert. She opened up for Billy Gilman on Saturday night, and one of the people that came over to the table to buy a CD or something like that, she was a teacher, a very young teacher in Cranston, and I said to her, well, you guys are doing a really good job on the attendance. And then she's like smiled and she says, yep, my third grade class just got a pizza party because I had the best attendance of any grade in my school. So we're getting people to talk about the frolic, in North Smithfield. You're getting people talking about, pizza parties. And so very positive reinforcement on this. And what we know to be true is that as I explained earlier in the conversation, if attendance increases, the outcomes are going to increase, and that's going to help us get closer to that goal of meeting or exceeding Massachusetts levels by 2030. That it's all in the framework, and the compacts, the municipal leadership, the school leadership, the business leadership, the higher ed leadership. We've been able to create and then that's nonprofit that I talked a little bit about that's going to be supporting this. We got Citizens Bank kicking in some money into that nonprofit, IGT, Bally's. We got the laborers kicking in there. This is an all-in effort that is not meant to be confrontational at all, and certainly not judgmental. We just know what we need to do, and what I just heard in North Smithfield, I'm going to echo that all today when I meet with that nonprofit board and say, look what's happening up in North Smithfield. They got a frolic going on.
It's clever, right?
That's great.
Catchy name.
Yeah, fantastic.
The only thing I can say is if you have success with something, don't let it end just because it's been successful and we think that we've achieved the goal.
Yeah.
Right.
Because the goalposts keep moving. It's always something more you can do. So it should continue for a long time.
Right.
All right, we got one more.
John, that's why we made this a multi-year strategy, right? Knowing that
Absolutely.
it's incremental progress because you don't, go from 0 to 60 and that quickly. You're going to have to incrementally, but we can measure it. This is what I like about this thing. We can measure the attendance daily. We can measure the outcomes of our reading and math and our SAT scores. We can measure the FAFSA application. One of the communities down in Newport actually is using some of their grant money that we granted in to the communities to help families fill out the FAFSA. Now, that's another connection, very positive, meant to be very, encouraging. So John, thank you for that comment. It's a slow and steady progress. that we're going to make, but if we do the work, we're going to get the results. And if we get the results, it's going to reflect in opportunities for our kids, but it's also going to reflect in economy for our community. It's going to increase the economic opportunities for the families that live in the state of Rhode Island. That's a really important goal.
All right, Governor, we've come to the end of the program, so we could go on for another hour or so, but we've got to run. But we thank you for joining us today, and a Merry Christmas to you and your family.
Yeah, Merry Christmas right back to you and your listeners. It's always great to be on your radio show, and I appreciate your leadership on that. I'll get you a little donation because I didn't get up there for the milk fund this year, so I'll get you a little donation to support that. All right?
Well, that's appreciated. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right, have a good day, Governor.
Merry Christmas, Governor.
Merry Christmas, Governor.
Merry Christmas.
All right.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. And that's actually going to wrap it up for the show. So we want to say goodbye and thank you. And Merry Christmas to you, Tim.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
All right. And Merry Christmas, Melissa.
Merry Christmas.
And Merry Christmas, John.
Merry Christmas to everybody and a Happy New Year to everybody because John is going to be flying down to Virginia Beach next Wednesday. I'll be in the air on the way to Virginia Beach so I can drive my son's belongings to California. So I'll be missing next week and the week after because I'm not coming back until the 4th.
Wow.
So Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to everybody.
Safe travels to you there, John.
Thank you very much.
All right, this is Joe Callahan. Have a great day. Stay tuned for Gary Smith and the crew. Do you remember is coming up at 9:30 here on ON Radio.
Enjoy the God-given day.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON Woonsocket Radio. And now, the news. The economic cost of the partial Washington Bridge closure has mounted up in the area with police overtime. Providence and East Providence have collectively paid out more than $73,000 in overtime since last week's closure. Fire and rescue companies, along with other city agencies such as Public Works, have put in extra time as well to keep traffic flowing as best it can, and safety the priority, of course. State reimbursement is anticipated possibly through federal funds. Russ Oliver writes, in the Black